exceptions for rape or incest. And you had Indianapolis-based OBGYN Dr. Caitlin Bernard telling the Star that she had received a call from the child abuse doctor in Ohio that had seen the girl who, exactly 3 days after the ruling, was 6 weeks and 3 days pregnant. With that story then beginning to spread on social media, prompting outrage for many abortion supporters, including President Biden himself, who directed even more attention to the story after referencing it in a speech about abortion rights. But on the other side of this, we saw...
Greetings everyone, Stealthreich here. Sorry about that, didn't want to miss the previous story that was playing while I started this.
the girl's mother on June 26th.
I can type, I swear.
All of that said, for some, the memes have gone too far, because we're seeing more and more news coming out that there are movie theaters that are banning people from coming to the theater if they're coming in a group wearing suits. And it appears to be because in addition to these guys showing up, doing like little handshakes, taking it very serious, there are some of these gentlemanian groups that take it to another level, where it appears that they are messing the movie up for other people. Things like people whipping out their phone and turning on the flashlight while the movie's happening, others just being loud and disruptive, some going the extra step and throwing bananas at the screen. There's some of these kids memeing a little too close to the sun, but this bullshit has converted into real dollars, and so for me, the only question is, do we see one of the biggest drop-offs for week 2 numbers in history, or does the meme stay strong for 7 more days and we see another strong week 2? Use the comments down below to put your bets in, and we'll look back in 7 or 8 days. Also, in the news regarding how do you get someone to watch something, boobs. And no, I'm not talking about the first 7 years of the Philip DeFranco show. Rather, there's been this big debate happening online after this stunt that was pulled by a streamer by the name of Pooper Noodle. And as she explained it on Twitter, I made the decision to buy a pair of boobs and wore them on stream today, and showing her viewer analytics, and it appeared that most of her numbers about doubled. 1,471 average viewers, up from 651. Almost 2,400 max concurrent viewers compared to 1,059. Way more subs, way more followers, way more live views, way more everything. With Dexerto also reporting that a day after this, she went live again, and she broadcasted to an average viewership over double what she was previously. And so following this, we saw the post blow up, a lot of people having a lot of different takes, some of which did not sit well with Pooper Noodle, and so she responded, "I'm seeing some really bad takes and would just like to clear things up. 1. Women don't have it easier on Twitch. They get a better initial start, but can't break through the glass ceiling that male creators can. This is due to multiple reasons. 2. Everyone loves boobs, not just men or simps. 3. Watching a female streamer or finding their content entertaining does not make you a simp, you absolute buffoon. 4. It's worth noting I didn't just put on the boobs. I was wearing this cosplay for 13 hours while trying to defeat the hardest content, Vicus Raid Hard Mode. I also had Twitch drops activated on my channel. 5. A lot of people are mad that I'm, quote, deceiving men. If this is you, please go outside and talk to a real life person. Maybe one day you'll even get to talk to a woman. And 6. Women aren't boobs." And personally, I'll say I agree with 5 out of 6 of them, with my only question mark being around number 4, because her saying that it wasn't just the boobs seems to go against her initial post, right? That post really never emphasizes any part of her cosplay outside of the boobs, though I do think that it includes important context and it can be a mixture of
self-exploitation.
And so with this story, of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on any and all aspects of it, but the 2 final notes I want to hit on. 1, this is just a confirmation of everything we knew. Everyone loves boobs, man, woman, whatever. And 2, Lindsay, please do not look at our Amazon order history. News views usually trend down in the summertime, and I'm just doing what I gotta do. And then, what would you do if your employer accidentally paid you 330 times your normal paycheck? Sounds like a weirdly specific hypothetical, but one guy in Chile actually had to ask himself that question recently. Now, currently, we don't know his name, but we do know that he was a dispatch assistant.
I thought it was thanks for a job well done.
Consortia. When he got paid his monthly wages for May, he was expecting around $545, which, to put into context, is not much more than half the average take-home pay of around $900. But instead, when he checks his bank account, he doesn't see $545. He finds $180,418, which, fun fact, is around the same that top CEOs get compared to typical workers. But you know, what we see is this guy go, "Hey, I have a conscience." He goes to his manager at work, he tells him what happened. The manager then tells HR, and they say, "Hey, no worries. We're gonna get this sorted. Just give us back the money." He says, "Yeah, of course, tomorrow." I'm like, pretty much everything that I put off till tomorrow, he doesn't follow through. Maybe the little devil on his shoulder finally broke through. He's like, "You're making a lot of sense." He just takes the cash and bolts, with his attorney already putting that money to good use, sending in a letter several days later saying, "Hey, this guy is resigning." And so the company has filed a complaint with the authorities alleging that he misappropriated funds, though there hasn't been an arrest yet, though that's largely because this man has not been found or heard from since this happened. And so with this story, there are questions. Is this guy in the wrong for taking taking the money and running, to which I would say usually according to the law that is technically illegal, which is why my main question is, what would you do? Because I can see this from two ends. As a former broke-ass kid, I think there's definitely a time and place I would have taken that money, run, just started a life somewhere else. But on the other side of this, as an employer, with how insurance, benefits, and everything works, I've accidentally overpaid employees in the past before. I've just kind of made them whole. I'm not gonna be that boss that's like, hey, we overpaid you, so you're gonna have to pay us back. But I've never overpaid someone by $150,000. If one of my people took my money and ran, you betray my trust, you're dead to me. You take my money, you're just dead. Also, my HR department and my lawyer would like to explain that what I just said is a joke, and I'm not currently practicing my shocked face for when the news comes out that the person that stole money from me accidentally stabbed themselves 13 times. That was also a joke. Let's move on before I incriminate myself some more. And then just, Jesus Christ, just watch.
200,000 minimum ballots were trafficked by mules.
No,
An honest election.
May I finish? Mamma mia.
Hold on, let her finish, please, Scott.
Okay. God,
See
they
that
talk
right
over me
there?
and I'm Italian.
That's it. Here. Wow. Okay, now let's take it out of context.
It's a Democrat, Republican, get super...
Okay, no, not allowed. You see what I'm doing there, guys? It just makes you want to look it up. Ooh, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? What are they saying?
Women since I've been to a baby shower. It's been a while.
I don't know how that's going to go over, Scott, but we'll let that hang.
I'm pro-life, from conception to death. And I believe...
No exceptions for rape or incest?
Well, that's a gray area. I don't know. That's a personal decision for a person.
Well, why can't we treat human life in the same way
The
that
rest
we would
isn't a
treat
personal decision
alien
for a
life
person.
that we
That is-
discovered on an alien
How
planet?
would you...
There's a reason we don't
Why
always
are you
invite
guys talking about shit that has been settled a long time ago? It's dumb.
You want control?
What's he shoot?
I wonder what you did with all my game, bro. Put them in the box, but they're not that extra box.
That they wanted to win 1 by 2 to 1 in this county, and I'm still getting grief, and so is my staff. I'm not sure what they think that we did wrong, and they're very nasty. The accusations and the threats are nasty. But even saying very nasty, that's a pretty mild way of putting it. Like hell, the county sheriff had to give her extra protection and even started doing regular patrols of her home in response to the threats that she had received. Threats that notably she never had gotten until this election. And understand, they are far from the only ones. We've seen election officials resigning en masse for similar reasons in other states as well. But yeah, to bring it back to Arizona, if all of this concerns you and you happen to live there, primaries will be held on August 2nd. Though, notably, the state also has universal mail-in voting, and those should be sent out this week. Though, of course, this is just one battle. This is not just an Arizona problem. And I don't know, I just wish there could be an election where I just feel like, you know, the last vestige of democracy didn't hinge on the result. Happy 4th of July, everyone. And then finally, with living another day in America, we have another story involving guns. I mean, fuck, as I started recording this video, I saw breaking news that there was a mass shooting in Highland Park, Illinois. There are already reports that there are at least 5 dead. It's a developing situation situation, so we are going to talk about it tomorrow. But for the end of today's show, I want to talk about why people are protesting in Akron, Ohio. Or because some are saying this is in response to one of the most explosive instances of police brutality since George Floyd. With the young man at the center of this story being 25-year-old Jalen Walker. The story actually starts last Monday when city police attempted to stop a silver Buick that Walker was driving for a traffic and equipment violation. And it's just now gaining so much attention because police yesterday released 13 versions of highly disturbing body cam footage from the incident at a press conference. During that presser, police said that Walker refused to stop, instead taking off with the cops in pursuit. And around 40 seconds later, body cam footage captures what the officers believe to be a gunshot from Walker's car.
21 shots fired. That vehicle just had a shot come out of its door.
So the chase continues for several more minutes until Walker eventually stops and exits his car wearing a ski mask and then running away on foot. Cops attempt to tase him but fail, then staying in pursuit, with Walker finally reaching a parking lot where he stops and turns towards the officer for a brief moment, which is when they unload their weapons on him. And obviously I'm not going to show you that video, though it is readily available and easy to find. But ultimately, 8 officers reportedly ended up firing over 90 rounds at him, with around 60 of those wounding him. However, it is not clear how many are entry wounds and exit wounds, with the shooting lasting 7 seconds, even though Walker could be seen falling to the ground in the first second with his body convulsing from the bullets afterwards, with one officer waving his hand in the air 4 seconds in and yelling ceasefire 3 times before the gunfire died down. And at the end of all of this, we find out that Walker was actually completely unarmed, with many pointing out that in the videos he doesn't even appear to be holding anything in his hand. So police say when they searched his car, they did find a handgun and a loaded magazine. As far as why the cops say they shot him, the police department claims that each officer, independent of each other, saw him reach toward his waist and begin moving into a firing position. While the body cam footage makes it hard to see what actions Walker did or did not take, the lawyer for his family said that in a conversation with the city's police chief admitted that he didn't see any movement that put the officers in fear. And so right now you have all the officers involved being placed on paid administrative leave, with reports noting that 7 are reportedly white with 1 black. So that's why right now we're seeing protests erupt across the city, with people facing off against riot police, the police station, with it being described as mostly peaceful, though some people reportedly tried to tear down barricades, and you can see the cops deploying tear gas, as well as reports of some dumpster fires and broken windows, which has led to the mayor declaring a state of emergency today, issuing a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., also canceling the 4th of July fireworks celebration that was originally scheduled. But yeah, ultimately with that, I do want to pass the question off to you, because depending on where you look on the internet, people are very split. Some seeing this and describing it as the police just killing another unarmed black man. The Black Lives Matter Twitter account saying they shot him 60 times. He was murdered by Akron police. Say his name. With many of the viral posts noting he was unarmed, he was murdered. But on the other side of this, you have people saying it's understandable that it went down this way, arguing that even though he did not have a weapon on him when police opened fire, he had already, according to reports, fired at police from his vehicle, making it so that every officer knew that he was armed, that he was willing to shoot at police, and that could happen again. And in the middle of the night, adrenaline pumping after already being fired upon by a suspect, a movement could seem like a threat. So that's why ultimately with this story, I do want to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts so far? Because there is an ongoing investigation. But ultimately, that is where that story and today's show ends. Y'all, thank you for watching, being a part of the conversation. I hope you have a great rest of your 4th or whenever the hell you're watching this. But there's one thing for sure I can tell you. My name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right then. Wow. Wanted to find out what that stuff was about, but I was going to multitask.
So my producer said, I need your reaction on this video. Don't worry, it's different than last Friday, so,
Oh, that's going to go well. Yes, that's right.
was he unaware he lit a firework? Did my guy think this was a Yankee candle? Wait, I'm being told to keep watching. Okay, so my favorite part of this video is when his mom comes into the room and asks what we're all thinking.
I didn't know.
And the firefighters show up?
A firework went off, then it just like went boom. Like, it's on.
The firework went off and it went like boom. Y'all, if you ever look at an item and you're like, why is that warning on the box? This is why. This is the most obvious thing not to do, but also for some reason on July 4th, all Americans become slightly dumber. Like, we gotta warn one another, so you're not supposed to aim a Roman candle directly at your best friend's face. Seems fun, don't do it. And also, that room specifically, am I wrong? Is that the most flammable looking room in the world? Like, when it comes to flammable items in that room, Pikachu was like, I gotta catch them all.
Okay, when was this?
But also, I mean, here's the deal. We now live in a society where doing some dumb shit like this, it's good for you. Like the guy that did this is one of the biggest streamers in the world, and his punishment for doing this is that in 22 hours, his video got over 2.8 million views. Right, so historically, the lesson to this video would be, don't be stupid. But maybe I'm fucking stupid for not almost setting my mom's house on fire. Because this video ain't getting 2.8 million views, so maybe I'm the dumb one.
This is a news show.
And then, with yesterday being July 4th, of course, we saw something almost as American as making bad decisions with fireworks or gun violence.
For this is a battle of the ages, a battle of the titans, the early gods who come to Earth only once in only one location, and that is right here. So it is, and so it always shall be. Let the contest begin!
We're talking the 4th of July Nathan's hot dog eating contest on Coney Island. The ultimate wiener slurping spectacle aside from your mother's house on a Tuesday night. And of course, at the center of this event, you got 14-time yellow mustard belt winner Joey Chestnut. And just like every year, as the kids would say, he just starts guzzling glizzy after glizzy. Now I get why they say that. That sounds so much worse than wiener slurping somehow. But for Joey this year, the challenge is set up kind of like a Disney movie. He's playing through what would be for a mere mortal a season-ending injury. He's got a ruptured tendon. It's put him on crutches. He's pounding dogs through the pain. But that doesn't prove to be his biggest challenge, because out of nowhere, some dude in a Darth Vader helmet rushes the stage flanked by 2 stormtroopers. But Joey, I think, has seen this movie before, and before Vader could force choke Joey puts him in a chokehold, then knocking him away, security hauling the guy off, and then Chestnut just continues pounding dogs. While he didn't break his previous record, he still won, which I think means he now gets to be president. I'm like 98% sure that's in the Constitution. Also, if you're like, what the hell were up with those random stormtroopers? As you might have seen, one of them was holding a sign that read, "Expose Smithfield's Death Star," with Smithfield being the largest factory pig farm in the country, which supplies pork for Nathan's hot dogs. Right, so there were animal rights protesters, and some going, okay, well then why the Star Wars masks? Doesn't that trivialize their cause? Yes, but also you could argue it's more likely that people are going to talk about it because people are going to be like, what was up with the fucking mask? But yeah, I guess the way I want to end this story is congratulations to Joey Chestnut and his mouth, and thoughts and prayers to Joey Chestnut and his butthole. He's probably talked about it, and it's probably easily Googleable, but I don't want to know what 63 hot dogs does to your intestines. And then, do you remember earlier this year, you had a number of musicians saying they were pulling their music off of Spotify in protest of COVID-19 misinformation on the platform, many of them pointing towards Joe Rogan. Neil Young being a big leader of that movement, sparking kind of a larger wave, with that wave including David Crosby, Stephen Stills, and Graham Nash, his former bandmates, with him at that time releasing a statement saying, "We support Neil and we agree with him that there is dangerous disinformation being aired on Spotify's Joe Rogan podcast. Until real action is taken to show that a concern for humanity must be balanced with commerce, we don't want our music or the music we made together to be on the same platform," and saying they were removing this big body of work. But now you had someone recently noticing, hey, a lot of their work's actually back up on Spotify. So you had people wondering, are they not standing by their word? What happened? I'm confused. So when Crosby was asked why, he said, "I don't own it now, and the people who do are in business to make money." So I think for a lot of people, they're going to look and go, so you said something but meant nothing. You said, I am going to take a stand and then use my firm footing and get that bag, baby. Ain't no activism like capitalist activism. But as far as why he recently sold his catalog, it appears that it came recently as he announced that he was retiring from touring because of his age and saying, "I had 2 ways of making a living, touring and records. Spotify comes along and I don't get paid for records anymore. That's half my income, okay? So I think, well, I should be grateful that I can still play live and pay the rent and take care of my family. Then along comes COVID and I can't play live. The reason I sold my collection is that I didn't have any other option. None. Zero." And so really, that's that. You have reports saying that streaming profits generated by Crosby, Still, and Nash's streaming will still be donated to COVID-19 charities for at least 1 more month, and notably Neil Young's solo recordings still remain off the platform. Also, in quick news regarding Joe Rogan, and I'm very interested to see what your reaction is going to be and what the internet reaction is going to be today. In a recent podcast, Joe Rogan revealed that Donald Trump has tried to get on the Joe Rogan podcast, but Rogan has shot him down multiple times.
By the way, I'm not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form. I've had the opportunity to have him on my show more than once. I've said no every time. I don't want to help.
Okay. It's time to get that off of there and go for some gaming stuff. that good, huh? They are really that good, huh? Sneaky feeling. Started to turn left, dude. What are you doing now? Well, stop mode here. It's about the best you can do, bud. Of course you're gonna shoot at me first, because I'm the bigger threat. Who You's a punk. That's what you are. If you made it out or not. Gonna call it a break for now. This is Stealth Reich. Good hunting.